Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of The Chase is On. Happy to have you guys here. Appreciate all the new listeners I got with last week's episode, the episode on mental health and exercise. That is quickly becoming the top performing episode through downloads and listens. So, appreciate all the support on that. This week, we are going to be covering pre workout. And the reason we're covering pre workout this week is because in the last couple weeks, I have been asked about pre workout, my thoughts on it, suggestions for brands and stuff like that, more times than I probably ever have in my life, and certainly more than in the last couple of years. I'm not sure why. It's all of a sudden become a hot topic for the people around me, for the people I interact with, but it has. And I figure instead of answering the same question 1,000 more times, let me make a podcast on it so I can kind of get my thoughts out there and just point people to here to get a little bit of information. So it's going to be a little bit shorter. This one's not going to be a very long episode, but hopefully it'll give you a little bit of information and a little bit of my biased thoughts potentially on pre-workout and that supplement being sold as a whole. So let's dive right into it. So let's start with what pre-workout is slash how it works. So generally, pre-workout is exactly what it sounds like. It's some sort of stimulant that you take prior to activity, usually about 30 minutes before activity to allow it to kick in. It works through two main mechanisms. So there are caffeine-based pre-workouts that work through increasing your heart rate to increase your fight or flight response. So it increases the hormone release associated with that, activates your central nervous system, plus moves blood through the system faster. Okay. The other form of pre-workout you typically see is through nitric oxide, and that increases vasodilation. So your vascular system, the veins and arteries, enlarge. They become bigger in diameter and circumference, depending on what measure you want to use, to allow a greater volume to flow through at the same heart rate. But obviously, when you work out, heart rate increases, um, so you'll get greater amounts of blood through the system to kind of get the same effect with not as much uh, potential stimulant type feeling effects like that jittery feeling people may get if they consume too much caffeine. So those are the two main mechanisms how they work. Big examples are C4 for the caffeine side, and O Explode obviously for the nitric oxide side or nitric oxide side. Those are the two big examples. I would say a majority of pre-workouts go with caffeine. Even stuff like Monster Energy drinks or Bang or Rain, whatever tickles your fancy on that side of thing. Those are mostly going to be caffeine based. Most of your pre-workouts will be caffeine based. Um, so that's kind of what they are and how they work. Are they necessary? I really don't think so. You know, um, Now that's not to say that a stimulant may not be necessary before a workout. For me personally, I drink a half cup of coffee before I work out because I generally work out after a 7 or 8 hour shift at the gym. So I give a little bit of a pick me up there, and then I go work out. What I'm not doing is spending 20 to 30 bucks on one of these pre-workout supplements where you get the caffeine, but you're also getting a lot of fillers, you're getting a lot of sugars, getting a lot of flavors, when really you're paying for the effects of the caffeine. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's really necessary for anyone. If it's something you like doing, by all means, go ahead. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. If you got a flavor you enjoy, you're not a coffee person, you're not a tea person, you don't like any of the new like seltzer energy uh, drinks like Celsius or Chirp is one I've been buying from Target. By all means, you know, enjoy your pre-workout, but it's not necessary. Um, Make sure, I would say, that you're not using your pre-workout as a crutch. The pre-workout should not be something that's replacing, good sleeping habits. If you are getting your 6 to 8 hours, 6 to 10 hours of sleep a day, you will find that you will be a lot less dependent on needing any sort of caffeine or pre-workout boost because you will have filled those gaps. It is a supplement, so it should be a supplement. It shouldn't be something that is required in your everyday life. It shouldn't be something that is required before every workout. Like I said, you had a long shift, maybe your nieces and nephews and kids, really drained your energy for the day, but you still want to get a workout in, by all means, go for it. But there are also a lot of really cheap alternatives. Instead of buying, like I said, that pre-workout filled with sugar, filled with additives that you may not totally know what they are, that may or may not be, legal depending on your personal situation, whether you get drug tested for a sport or for work. There are the supplement industry is totally unregulated. So that's something you need to be aware of. You can look for things like NSF certified. Look for stuff that's been tested for purity in the labs. Those you'll be, much safer with as far as supplements go. But there are cheaper and cleaner ways to get the pre-workout effect. So I've alluded to one, coffee and tea. Those are real easy, real cheap ways to get, a caffeine boost before you go. And it's really easy to monitor, how much you're taking in, so you're not consuming too much to be jittery, or to get lightheaded, or to feel like your blood sugar is dropping. Some of those effects that can happen if you consume too much caffeine, especially if you consume it in a pre-workout form where you're getting all those extra additives. So coffee, black coffee, or if you've got to put a little bit of cream in it, it's great, for a pre-workout, even intra-workout if you're kind of weird like that. Other options are, caffeine pills. There are lots of brands of caffeine pills where you're getting rid of all the fluff. You're getting the caffeine, and again, it's really easy to monitor your intake. So half a pill works great, or maybe you need to take a full pill when you need it. So it's really easy to monitor your intake and make sure that you're getting exactly what you want when you need it. So, but the big thing, the big thing is a supplement. It should be used as such. It's not a band-aid to fix, bigger problems, whether it's sleep, whether it's hydration, whether it's your nutrition, whether it's overtraining. If you are doing too much, too short a time, and you're feeling run down, pre-workout could mask those issues and lead to bigger issues down the road. So make sure, again, I'm cool. If you want to take a pre-workout, that's fine. I don't think it's necessary. I think there are cheaper, easier, better ways to get the effects that you need without having to spend, more money than necessary on, essentially the supplements version of a tall triple whip mocha frappuccino or whatever from Starbucks. A coffee will do just fine. If you have any questions about, maybe the pre-workout you're currently taking, or, ways to become less dependent on it, if you're using it consistently for every single one of your workouts, even if it's just arms and core day, feel free to reach out. My contact information is in my Instagram bio. It's at chase.harris.performance on Instagram. It's got my email and my phone number. Reach out to me however you want, and I'd be happy to chat with you. Other than that, like I said, short, sweet, to the point. Have some coffee, go work out, enjoy your pizza. Have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you in a couple weeks. Peace.